Now, we're going to talk about strategy implementation quotes. Okay, what does that mean? I thought I already paid for the strategy, Dave. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you're paying for the scope of work. That's one fee, all right? It's between $25,000 and $50,000 for the strategy. You're not getting any videos or nothing is going to be done from that. You're just going to have a completely organized, well-structured strategy, a production budget, a production strategy. Everything will be laid out. Everything will be ready to implement by the end of this scope of work. You'll be able to go. And then the production may begin with a new budget. Now, what's that budget going to be? How much is this going to cost? I have no idea. This is none of my business. I can just tell you that in order to produce this strategy from beginning to end, the Moonshine Media is going to need between $25,000 and $50,000. After that, they're going to give you a quote that you're going to help them produce during the strategy. And it's not a quote of how much it's going to cost you so that you can pay Moonshine. No, 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 no. Moonshine's already been paid to produce the strategy. You've been working with them by now. You've been working with them for a long time. You know exactly what's going on. They immediately told you that you can't get Will Smith for less than 40 million bucks. So you were like, yeah, all right, maybe not Will Smith. Let's get somebody else, or let's get something else. Or actually, let's not do a live action shoot at all, because it's not necessary for your company. Let's save a bunch of money and let's do the most important thing, which is product videos or review videos or whatever it is that's best for your company, that's going to get the most amount of clients, the most amount of consumers to become customers for you. All of that is going to happen during the strategy. At the end of the strategy, you're going to get a final quote for the production costs. What the hell is a production cost? Let me make it really simple for you. Okay? After the strategy is complete, we sign off on the scope of work, and that's done. The money that you paid for the scope of work is now gone, complete, finished. That's the end. Thank you for your time. You can tell us to go away. You can tell Moonshine Media to just go away and leave and not do the production. Or you can say, Moonshine Media, now that the production strategy is ready, it's complete, we have the permits, we know exactly what we're doing, we have the project plan, everything is clearly laid out. How much is it going to cost to produce whatever it is that we want to produce that we agreed on in the strategy? Because now we have to produce that. We have to pay the cameraman. We have to pay the actors. We have to pay the horses. We have to pay the donkeys. We have to pay the lighting. We have to pay the electricity. We have to get the permits to get the giraffe into the city, which is really complicated. And then you need a permit to shoot the giraffe just in case it runs away. All of these things are very, very complicated, and all of the money that revolves around this, that was some jokes, by the way. There's not going to be any shooting of any giraffes. But all of this requires money, and that's the production costs. Now, Moonshine Media doesn't make money from any of those costs. This is absolutely not a profit center for Moonshine Media. If it costs $100,000, well, that's going to go to other people. That has nothing to do with Moonshine. Moonshine gets paid for their billable hours, and they'll give you a quote. So, for example, 3 people from Moonshine Media are going to need to work, and it's going to be, I don't know, 60 billable hours. Okay, fine. So that's $6,000 worth of, at $100 an hour. And I'm not saying that that's how much they charge, but for argument's sake, that would be $6,000 worth of billable hours that goes to Moonshine Media. But the other $94,000 is going to go to the cars that we need to buy, the machines, the lunches, the flights, the whatever it is that it's going to cost to actually produce the video. And the cameras and all of the equipment and all that stuff. It can get pretty up there. But that's not for me to say. I have no idea what the cost is going to be. But the best part about this SOW, you do get to decide how much money goes into production. That's your decision. It's not Moonshine Media. Moonshine Media will tell you how much it's going to cost to get you what you want. That's it, right? There's no negotiating. What are they going to negotiate? Like, look, if you want this, that's how much it costs. I'm not going to pull money out of my pocket just so that you can save $1. So you're going to have to make a decision once you get the quote actually we can't afford that, or actually we can't do this, or actually we want to spend more money, because maybe you'll realize that it's a tiny production budget and you really do need to put more time and money into the production. All this is your decision, because the outcome is going to be the same to Moonshine Media whether you spend $1 or $1 million on your production. It's going to be the same to them, because they still have the same amount of work to do. There's no extra profit in it for them. So when they give you a quote, that's based on whatever they could do to get it as cheap as they could for you, and that's where it stands. And that's basically what the strategy implementation quote is going to end up being. But by the time you get the quote, like I said, you'll already know exactly how much it's going to be, because you're going to be discussing it as the strategy goes on. You'll be discussing it with Moonshine. I hate surprises. I absolutely don't want to see the quote for the first time at the end of this scope of work if I'm a client. If I'm a client, I'm the one who wrote the quote in the first place. You just told me how much stuff costs. And then when we came up with all of the line items, I see what the quote's going to be. I ask the person in charge. He says, yep. We've just discussed it. This is the final quote. This is everything you wanted. So it's going to cost me that much. Yes, absolutely. And is there anything we missed? God, I hope not. We spent 6 months producing this scope of work, you know? And that's what this is. That's what the strategy implementation quote is. It's a really fine-tuned, permanent quote, so that you can get the money in advance from your accounting department, so that you can get the board of directors to sign off on hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce something that has been extremely well planned out. Implementing the final production, now that is where Moonshine Media really shines. Like I said, they don't take no for an answer. They don't understand what failure means. That's just something that people do when they don't prepare for failure, because every shoot has problems. And if you let it get in your way, you're never going to finish. So that's a long way of saying, when you finally receive the strategy implementation quote, it won't be a surprise. You will have helped them build it. You'll have calculated it with them. You'll have tried to save money wherever you can, because that's the best way to do business. And Moonshine Media doesn't make any money on the production budget. So that's where we stand. All right. Thank you, and I hope to see you on the next video.